Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Star Wars video games have been around nearly as long as the iconic Star Wars movies. Some developers tried to recreate the movies, others followed the Skywalker saga, and others carved out their own corners of the galaxy. Therefore, there's certainly no shortage of the games to choose from, but the abundance of them makes creating a top 10 list quite challenging. Nevertheless, let's take up this challenge and try to look into the Star Wars universe to find out the top 10 best video games of all time. Let's start with Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. The game was released in November 2001 by LucasArts for Windows and Aspyr for Mac. The game was built on the same engine by the same studio as the Age of Empires, and that's why it's not a surprise that gameplay and many features resembles this title. In the game, players must embark on epic battles controlling iconic factions. Players start with the command center, scout and workers to gather resources like food, carbon, nova crystals and ore. Progress through tech levels to unlock advanced units and buildings, wage war with 7 military structures like troops and shipyard, max factory, Jedi or Sith temple, heavy weaponry factory, airbase and fortress. Unleash units from fortress including anti-Jedi bounty hunters and powerful air cruisers. Overall, it is a fantastic game offering a thrilling real-time strategy gameplay with a Star Wars twist, combining resource management and intense combat in galactic far, far away. Number 9. Star Wars The Old Republic. The game was developed by BioWare and published by Electronic Arts in 2011 for Microsoft Windows. Game allows players to choose between Galactic Republic and the Sith Empire factions with freedom to align their characters' morality along the light or dark side. Play advancement is achieved through combat, completing missions and exploring the game world over a variety of planets, each with its own unique environment. The game offers a variety of classes, each with own playstyle, customization options and companion characters, providing very high gameplay flexibility. Choices made by players influences the storyline and the interaction with non-player characters. And the game features a full voice dialogue for enhanced immersion, similar to dialogue system in the Mass Effect series. Overall, The Old Republic is one of the finest Star Wars role-playing opportunities out there and one of the best massive multiplayer online role-playing games that you can still play today with new content and regular updates. Number 8. Star Wars Empire at War. Developed by Petroglyph Games and published by LucasArts for Windows and Aspyr for Mac, it thrusts players into the high-stakes war between the Rebellion and Empire, with the game taking place in the stretch of time between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope films events. Game masterfully captures the epic, fantastical atmosphere of the films, allowing a more immersive and interactive thrill ride for fans. Empire at War allows players to take control of armies on both sides of the conflict in grand-scale epic battles throughout the galaxy. Game has a considerable replay value due to 3 different game modes where players can use important Star Wars characters as heroes, each possessing unique abilities and strengths. These heroes can influence the outcome of the battles and provide significant strategic advantages. Overall, Star Wars Empire at War blends elements of strategy, resource management and real-time combat, offering players various ways to engage with the Star Wars universe across different modes and scenarios. Number 7. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This much-loved 2019 action-adventure video game is played from the third-person perspective and delivers high-level lightsaber action that fans been waiting for decades. The game is set 5 years after events of Revenge of Sith and focuses on aftermath of the infamous Order 66. The players can use their lightsabers to strike at enemies or block incoming attacks, sidestep, dodge and interrupt the attack by using force abilities. Enemy types include wild beasts, star troopers, droids and purge troopers. The player has one lightsaber at the beginning of the game and they can earn the ability to dual-wield double-bladed lightsaber later in the game along with other valuable skills. Game also has a strong Metroidvania influence, allowing you to explore planets, unlock customization options for Kyle, your lightsaber and even droids. Overall, it is an immersive action game that introduces us to the fast-paced Jedi lightsaber combat in modern gaming.
Are you with us? We're in.
Alright, where we going next?
Number 6. Star Wars Rogue Squadron series. Star Wars and flight simulation have a long history, therefore picking a very best from the genre stuff. Nevertheless, the Star Wars Rogue Squadron series managed to find a nice balance between simulation control and arcade feeling. Among the series, 2 titles require more attention. First one is Star Wars Rogue Squadrons 2 Rogue Leader, which is not only a gaming masterpiece but also one of the greatest releases ever seen on Nintendo GameCube. Its gameplay was so perfect at the time that it was even used for consoles showcase. Squadron 2 boasted one of the finest renditions of the famous trench run ever to be featured in video game, allowing you to fly everything from Millennium Falcon to the Naboo N1 fighter. Overall, coupled with the top graphics for the time and the fun narrative spanning the original 3 films, it makes a new peak for spacecraft-focused Star Wars games. Another title that we simply cannot ignore is Star Wars Squadrons 2020 game, which was developed by Motive Studio and published by Electronic Arts. It puts players in the middle of one of the Star Wars iconic space battles, allowing manually plotting beautiful ships through deadly dogfights. The game is quite immersive, especially with its first-person perspective and focus on piloting starfighters from Galactic Empire and the New Republic Navy. The class-based system with different starfighter classes for each faction and single multiplayer and narrative-driven story modes provide players with a variety of options for gameplay styles. Overall, Star Wars Rogue Squadrons series marks exhilarating, immersive and utterly unforgettable Star Wars aerial combat game experience. Number 5. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Game features locations, units, heroes, weapons and vehicles from all over the original trilogy and movies. Despite the revival of Battleground series by DICE in 2017, the original game nails it with the outrageous scale and the pure carnage it is able to deliver. 2005 Star Wars Battleground 2 allows to relive most iconic battlegrounds with its massive scale, multiplayer skirmishes, beautiful visual design and arcade action. Although this first-person shooter and third-person shooter shares many similarities with its predecessor, it introduces new gameplay elements like sprinting and rolling. The main objective remains defeating the opposing faction, although there are different game modes as well, like for example capturing flag. The game is divided into the 2 eras, the Clone Wars and Galactic Civil War. Players can choose from 6 classes within each faction, having two special classes and the new addition in Hero class, allowing players to control iconic characters from the Star Wars universe. Although there are still some flaws in the game, for many fans, the original Battlefront 2 2005 game remains the ultimate Star Wars video game of all times. Number 4. Star Wars Republic Commando. This tactical fast-person shooter video game, developed and published by LucasArts in 2005, putting you in a control of an elite group of clone troopers working behind enemy lines during the Clone Wars. Star Wars Republic Commandos received generally favorable reviews. In the game, players lead a squad and can issue orders using a squadmate order system and specific commands for objects. In single-player mode, players and squadmates are incapacitated rather than dying when health run out, and the game ends only when the player and all squadmates are incapacitated or when the player is in an unreachable position. Weapons can be acquired in both single-player and multiplayer modes, with the player character carrying a compact DC-17 and a blaster pistol throughout the campaign. Overall, Republic Commando is distinguished by its impressive step pieces, adaptive command structure, and impactful gunplay, making it a standout title among Star Wars games. Number 3. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Game is fantastic and lives up to its title, charting the events from the Phantom Menace all the way to the rise of Skywalker, featuring 45 levels across 3 film trilogies with revamped combat mechanics, including lightsaber combos and over-the-shoulder camera for blast characters. Unlike the most LEGO video games in which players have to advance through the story in the linear order, in this one players can choose to start the game from any of the 3 Skywalker Saga trilogies and complete them as they wish. On top of that, the game boasts 380 playable characters from across the Star Wars universe, and its hub consists of various fully explorable planets and moons with iconic landmarks. Overall, a brilliant game that exceeded all expectations, blending the best elements of both LEGO and Star Wars into the cohesive, cheerful and family-friendly package.
Your Highness, the transmission we received. What is it they've sent us?
Hope.
Number 2. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. The game's story picks up 5 years after Fallen Order and sees Kestis still on the run, now as a seasoned Jedi Knight. The game offers the same satisfying exploration and combat as a Fallen Order introduced, but with refinements to make these elements even better. Game has plenty to offer to Star Wars fans, including new Jedi lore, an intense look at the threat posed by Darth Vader, and the continuing growth and development of Cal as the Jedi. It is certainly one of the best Star Wars games out there that offers the best way to experience true Jedi powers, with more varied and flashier combat, platforming that is taken to the next level, and the gorgeous, jaw-dropping location with visuals that makes it greatest, most well-textured Star Wars game ever released. However, there is one Star Wars game title that is even better than this. It's literally survived and exceeded every single game in this list and found its special sacred place in the hearts of many Star Wars gaming fans for more than 20 years. Number 1.
Resume the bombardment, Commander. Wipe this pathetic planet from the face of the galaxy.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Developed by BioWare and published by LucasArts in 2003, this role-playing video game revolves around the very different tale and experience to the time and battles depicted in the films. Game is set 4,000 years before A New Hope film events and gives fans a space western infused look at the war between Jedi and Sith. The main narrative revolves around Darth Malak's declaration of war to the Galactic Republic leading to the war. Players assume the role of Jedi tasked with chasing and defeating Malak across the variety of planets as part of the epic space adventure that is filled with memorable locations, quests and interesting characters. Overall, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2003 game remains one of the most important and influential Star Wars games of its time, remembered not only as a gold standard for the RPG genre, but also the highest of the achievements in the Star Wars video game universe. Let me know in the comments which of these games is your favorite, which one would you pick and which one would you place as a number one. If you found this video useful, give it a like, subscribe to the channel and hit notification bell to be always informed about new episodes. And that's it guys for today. Thank you for watching, have fun playing these amazing games. May Force be always with you and stay tuned for the next episode.